Nice to be here. I'm Guy Drouin. I'm a CEO of Biothermica, a company doing build, own, operate project in the area of landfill gas to energy, coal mine methane, waste management. So the company is in existence since 30 years. We have been owner of several infrastructure related to waste management, landfill gas to power plant in Montreal, as well as in El Salvador. We did a clean development mechanism project in El Salvador, capturing landfill gas from a landfill and selling carbon credit to Luxembourg during the good years of Kyoto Protocol, where we have a very good price on carbon CERs, Certified Emission Reduction Unit, around 14, 16 euro per ton. So in these years, we have developed and begin to develop a model based on the following conclusion. If we want to tackle effectively climate change, we have to develop a new financial model for least developed countries. As you know, most of the greenhouse gas growth will come from least developed countries. The developed countries like Canada or Germany or France, we are now at the maximum and we begin to diminish our carbon footprint. But the least developed countries, seeing with the population growth, and since they don't have money to pay for clean technology, which could be very expensive, like in Haiti, so we have to develop a new approach in order to make it happen, to have a real mitigation project which will create real carbon reduction. So based on this assumption, we decide to develop a model in AAT, a waste management project in Gonaives. It's a city of 500,000 people, about 3 hours from Port-au-Prince. And we have developed a model where we have created first thing, what we call a technology non-profitable organization who will be the doer directly in the territory in order to put a garbage collection system, a modern landfill, and a power plant which will utilize the biogas to generate electricity under a PPA with Électricité d'Haïti and selling eventually carbon credit maybe to the cap-and-trade Quebec, California project. Based on this model, the Quebec Climatic Cooperation Program decided to put a first $1 million to develop and implement the model. And the model is based on the following approach. Since Haiti, they don't have money to pay a tipping fee for garbage, so the CapEx should be a blended finance approach, a private and public finance, since the revenue stream will happen after about 3-4 years after we landfill the garbage coming from the garbage truck in the city. So the OPEX, operational revenue, will be paid by the revenue coming from the electricity and the carbon sales. By doing so, we will have a big impact on this city because now nobody is going there. There's no money. The overall budget for the city is about $5 million. They don't have enough money to pay 50 cents per ton for a tipping fee. So we have developed a model. So the infrastructure will belong to the non-profitable technology organization, Bioenergie Haiti, that we have created in 2011. And we just began to collect the garbage with the $1 million that we received from the government of Quebec. And now we are here to try to find out if we can have a blended finance coming from international organization, finance organization, and maybe some private organization for the other $17 million, which will make it happen. And we try to replicate eventually this model in some other city. After 4 years, we will produce 1 megawatt going to 8 megawatt. And during 25 years, we will have a carbon reduction of about 7 million ton equivalent, which is not very expensive for $17 million capex. So that's the model that we try to implement.
Thank you very much. Here we have a couple of minutes. We could open for questions, but I might start with a question of my own. Given that you have a power purchase agreement or the potential for a power purchase agreement with an electricity company and also the potential for carbon revenues through crediting, are you able at all to attract financing from the banking institutions, from the finance sector?
We have been able, of course, to attract some financing from the government of Quebec. And now we have just completed the detailed PDD, or project development studies. We are in the process to register this project under the Clean Development Mechanism, which is okay. And we have agreements with the government of Haiti to have the land where we will implement the landfill for free. The land will have a real title. It is this project has been approved under Prévert government, so we have for the land good title, which would be recognized at the international level. So we are used to organize that type of financing, and we are here to meet people from the different financial organizations which could be interested for this new model.
I'm open to any questions out in the audience. Then I might ask a question. If you are able to attract the finance, how replicable is this with other cities, and how much can you scale it up in terms of size of waste collected and energy produced?
Okay, in Gonaives, the size of the landfill would be about 100,000 tons of municipal solid waste and organic waste coming from rice cultivation. They have a lot of rice cultivation around Gonaives. So we will receive, beginning with 50,000, 25,000, 50,000, up to 200,000 tons if we include the organic waste. And this project will be replicable in Haiti because since we are in this business of landfill since 30 years, we have done the modeling, we have real data, we know this kind of business since it is our bread and butter since 30 years. And after 5-7 years, the technology non-profitable organization will generate a next surplus of money, which will be used to replicate the model in some other city in Haiti. Be sure there's nobody going there to collect the garbage. The big US company or French company like Veolia, they are not there because the city don't have money to pay a tipping fee. And the problem, if we want to solve, because we have many impact. First of all, when you are in Gonaives or in Haiti, you look at the riverbed. You know, it's not raining, it's full of plastic bottle. It's raining, all the plastic bottles are going in the ocean. They cannot have tourist activity because the city of Gonaives, they throw the garbage in the road. The pigs are eating the garbage, the dogs, the sheep, and there's no garbage infrastructure at all. It's the same thing. We have a similar project in Togo, same thing. All over the world, the very poor country, they cannot pay for good waste management practice and infrastructure. We have to find a way to solve that type of problem. Otherwise, all the plastic bottles coming from these large cities, like in Togo, in Lomé, like in Sudan, like in Benin, like all the least developed country having a gross national product of, say, $2,000 US dollar per capita and less, they cannot afford to pay that type of infrastructure. And the only way to solve it is to create a new financial model. Otherwise, you are doomed. And these countries are producing a lot of methane, a lot of carbon emissions, since methane has a global warming potential, as you know, of 25 times CO2. So the methane footprint of this country is huge. So It's why my company, since we have work in El Salvador, they have a GNP of $8,000, so they can pay a tipping fee of $20 a ton. In Haiti, there's no money there. So we have to develop a model for that kind of country. It's why we have invest since 2010, my company, we are making profit on some other project. We invest about $600,000 from our directly with no grants to develop that model, going very often. And one of the key of this project is to have a long-term agreement with the city of Gonaives. We have a long-term agreement where Bioenergy will be the owner of the infrastructure. So who is Bioenergy Haiti? We are founder. I'm also chairman of the board of this non-profitable organization, and the population of Gonaives through the Women Association, through the Catholic Church being very active in Gonaives. So we have an annual assembly of the people. We have put some good governance there, and Bioenergy Haiti will be the owner of the infrastructure. So it's normal that the people generating the garbage be the owner of the garbage infrastructure.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think our time is up. Please join me in thanking Guy for his pitch.